Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afrer, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. Happy to have you with us, whether on the live call or on the replay. And also really excited that Sarah Ellingworth is back with us on the show. She's been joining us almost every season in the past, I think, couple of years. And yeah, I really love the message that she shares and how she can touch on subjects that sometimes can either sometimes can be difficult to assimilate, or maybe we approach it in sometimes fearful ways. But I love her approach that makes it very empowering, and we feel safe to approach those subjects with more ease. And for those of you who are new to her, she is a master energy practitioner of the healing arts, intuitive healer, and shadow work. And the subject today is when trauma becomes a portal, healing attachments and energetic distortions. So yeah, so she will be sharing about that, and also we'll have a Q&A. So if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing react or reaction, then raise hand if you want to ask your question. If you are on the phone, you can press *9, and also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so with that, Sarah, welcome to the show. Happy to have you with us.
Thank you. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you to Monsef and Monsef's audience. Thank you for having me back on the show. Hey, Tatiana. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone, live and on the replay. So today's topic is about trauma and how the energetic component of trauma, the impact that it has and the workings of it. But I really wanted to spend a good portion of today's topic actually doing some healing work and clearing work. So there is going to be a really nice, deep clearing offered on the frequencies of trauma and our attachments to trauma. And I'll go into a little bit of detail around, yeah, energetically what makes trauma in our energy bodies, and some of the things that can come in through those frequencies. So when I say trauma is a portal, a portal is like a doorway between levels of our multidimensional selves, but it can also be an invitation. It's like a point of like a frequency exchange through different levels of our being. And it's a concept that can be difficult to understand, particularly if, you know, all you believe is just the physical. And I think a lot of the listeners here are very open or have a very good understanding of our energy bodies. You know, as an example, we can feel things all through our body. Like for me, actually, when I have an emotion, even just recently, when I've been feeling something, I can feel it in my knee. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And so then I'm sort of having a conversation with myself within myself and tuning into what I'm feeling and what's being held within my right knee or my left knee. And they both are something different. So when we talk about our energy bodies, you know, we can actually have aspects of ourselves, layers of our being outside of the physicality, but within our auric field. And those portals, what we're calling right now a portal for trauma, can be held within the physical body, but can also be held in the mental body or the emotional body. And that isn't just connected to feeling in the heart or thinking in the head. It can actually be anywhere in your body. So you could potentially have, you know, a portal of trauma in your liver. And through that is an invitation of frequencies such as ancestral trauma. Let's say, you know, there's trauma associated to alcoholism and abuse around alcoholism, whether it's abuse of that vice or whether it's alcoholism through the family and there's abuse in the family through the alcoholics. you know, all of that is connected to these frequencies that create, and I'm connecting it to that because obviously alcohol has a big impact on the physical aspect of the liver, but we can also hold a lot of anger and resentment, bitterness. So whether you're the alcoholic or whether you're, you know, in the environment of the alcoholic, whatever the relationship is, you can still have that frequency match held within the liver. And so then we have this portal of energy, this invitation of energy within the liver that is holding trauma from our experiences connected to alcoholism. So it becomes very multi-layered. And then that can actually be passed through ancestral trauma as well. And that is an invitation for more cords. So we can have cords and attachments and addictions to these frequencies. And all of this can build. It's another invitation for entities to get on in there as well. And quite often, you know, when it's intense enough, it can also invite dark force interferences or demonic beings. And that doesn't mean you become possessed, but it means that there's these energetic beings within different levels of our multidimensionality that are hooking into or attached to our being and feeding off our energy through these portals or invitations, or, you know, these, it's almost like a ball of frequency. So when we understand the different aspects and the layers and the multidimensionality of our whole selves and what we're feeling and what we're thinking, because then we have awareness of what we're contributing, creating, you know, fostering within our being, we have more scope to do something with it. So really, I wanted to sort of have you know, share some light on what trauma can present as in the energy body and what we can do, even just, you know, not even in a healing, like even just with our thoughts and feelings, what we can do to start to dissipate that energy, to start to reclaim some of our power back, because trauma is it can be very paralyzing. I want to call it heavy, but literally when I'm working on trauma within a client or within someone's body, it very often presents like concrete. It feels like concrete. It's very, very heavy. And really, unless the person is actually willing to let it go, it's almost impossible to take out, because when we have an attachment, when there's a level of, sometimes people identify themselves through a trauma, then it's very, very hard to actually remove because of the attachment that they have. So when we have a willingness or a desire to move beyond the trauma, to release it, it makes it easier to let go of. But I do want to highlight, you can do this on your own. You don't have to have a healer do it for you. But I appreciate that can be very hard when you're, you know, up to your eyeballs in the fear, or, you know, whatever the emotions that the trauma has created for you is still very thick and intense within all levels of your being, and that includes your consciousness as well. So, but we want to, the more we can bring into our consciousness the awareness of what's in our energy body, again, the more scope we have to play with it and move it. So, and this is where, again, a lot of people can sit in the healing piece with, you know, working on their mental and emotional body. But if they're unaware of their attachments to the trauma, or if they're unaware of the patterns, there can sometimes be undertones of patterns that are created from the trauma that isn't directly related to the trauma. So it can be a hard one. It's even the cording that can present when I'm looking at it within someone else's being. There can be cords that are attached through different chakras even. It's not even just like, oh, there's a cord, let's take it out of the solar plexus. It can actually be that from the solar plexus, it's connected to the throat and then the crown and then the heart. And it's almost like this netting that's created, like a, you know, a web that's created within the energy body, connecting through the chakral system or through the organs, that makes it so embedded and lodged quite deeply. And really that can be removed without having to relive the trauma. Like that's not always necessary. I actually often don't think it's necessary, because you're actually just, you know, stimulating that fear response again. the willingness to let it go, the desire to let it go. And this is where it's really needing the courage and the inner strength to know that you will be okay regardless of what happens, and to actually learn the lesson of what the traumatic experience offered you. That starts to open up parts of your being, that creates a bit of, it loosens it up a bit, and then that gives us more space to release. So it can be a really tricky one working with trauma, and the body is again, when I'm talking about like that concrete frequency, the body does hold, like it can get embedded, so it comes through the emotional body, through the mental body, and then into the physical body, and it's like it sinks in, if that makes sense. It really embeds quite deeply. So to I want to say, like, you don't have to be engaging the mental to think about the trauma. It's actually understanding what you've learned about yourself through this experience, which is the same as what we would do with all lessons and all challenges or hardship. But it's a part of the healing journey and the spiritual journey that can't be, bypassed. We do still need to learn the lesson, because even if you are capable of letting that go, if you haven't fully learned the lesson, it's going to repeat itself to some degree for you to absorb the wholeness of what's on offer for you. So, yeah. I will just talk a little bit more about the I'm going to focus on some of the chakras, or the chakra aspect of trauma. And then I really would actually love to go into the healing, but I might even just open it up for a few people to ask some questions or put some things out there that they'd like to discuss before we go into the healing, if there's parts that they would like to work on specifically. But basically, the chakras, when it comes to trauma, because trauma is a very, it can be a very shattering experience to the energy bodies, and it can really fracture not just like the soul aspect of our being, but it can actually fracture the energetic component. Like the chakras themselves can either break, or it doesn't mean to say they're broken, but they can crack, or there can be tears, holes, rips, those sorts of things. And those openings that are created, they weaken the chakra. And again, that's another invitation for more interferences to come in. So again, it adds another level of difficulty when it comes to clearing, because these entities or interferences will really lock in. And because that's food for them, they're going to fight to the death to keep it. So it can be quite challenging to peel all of these things back. But it can be done. But yeah, we have, the actual the shape and the structure of a chakra. We have quadrants, and we have sections, and there's different aspects that compose the chakra and how it moves, and the types of frequencies or energies that thrive in these energy centers. So I think the solar plexus and the crown are traditionally hotspots for where trauma is lodged, but it can be anywhere. So for today's clearing, I'm going to have a big focus on the crown and the solar plexus, but the throat is really coming to mind as well. So I think we're going to do a lot of work on the throat and then the heart. So I might just be getting shown the order of what we're doing it in. But I'm really excited to be offering some space for people to really jump into this healing and give it everything you've got. And with the way that I work, I really do sort of guide you through how to show up in that energetic exchange for you to release as much as possible. And that doesn't actually always mean you have to go into the shadow. Sometimes you actually have to hold the frequency of what you're trying to cultivate, because that will allow you to let go of what you've been focusing, or letting go of the lower vibration. As you reach for the high vibration, your awareness coming off that lower frequency allows me to actually take it, and then you've got more space to reach for the higher vibration. So but that's all very intuitive in the clearing as to what's required. And I do as I'm told. Whatever they tell me to do is what I'll tell you to do. But the more you can lean into this space, yeah, I'm hoping that it really does create a nice opportunity for people to release as much trauma as they're prepared to let go of. And if that's not everything, that is totally fine too. Like even when we take big chunks of trauma out, it can, if we take too much, it can leave a bit of a disassociated feeling within the self because there's such a big change. So it doesn't mean to say that that's a bad thing or to stay away from that. It just, I'm putting it out there so that if you do have that feeling, just know that it's quite normal, and to really focus on the positive or, the frequency that you're trying to cultivate moving forward, which I'm hearing hope. So it's hope, trust and courage, all of these lower, it's the solar plexus that I'm seeing where within yourself that you'll be okay. You trust yourself to keep moving forward. And that's anchoring in a new level of knowing within yourself, within your center of self, within your center of power, that all is good when that disassociated feeling, if that disassociated feeling comes in. And that's really just because you're feeling the absence of the lower frequency. So again, a big push to lean into what you're trying to create for yourself moving forward. So I will just open it up to, I think there was a couple of questions that came in just before we go. Does the pain in certain part of your body mean the trauma is hidden there? Yeah, it can do. I mean, it's not always a hard and fast, but yes, um, trauma can be very, there's a real heavy stuckness to trauma. It's like, again, every time I work on it, it very often presents like concrete. Doesn't mean to say it can't move, it does, but it's usually very clumpy, very, like huge boulders of just rock. It can be like that sometimes. Um, when we go into the clearing, you can definitely feel into if you've got pain points within your body, and sometimes that can be past life as well. I do want to highlight, like, it doesn't have to be from this lifetime. It can actually be, and very often it actually is this, if you've got a sore shoulder and you had an injury from playing football when you were 22 and now you're 42, and this injury has stayed with you for the last 20 years, it can quite often be that you've recreated this experience from a previous lifetime. And again, it's not about the story. It doesn't matter how it happened. It's the frequency of what's being held in the shoulder from the trauma that needs to come out. I hear a lot of stories from people who, they go and get the all clear from the doctor, but yet the pain is still there. And that's quite often trauma lodged in the body within the mental and emotional aspect, but they're feeling it in the physical. So if you are coming to today's clearing and that you've got soreness, you've got pain, you've got stuckness in your body, and again, it doesn't have to be limited to one place. Give it permission to be there. It's if you have a frustration or a resistance or sort of a push-pull relationship to the pain that you are feeling, that's the part of you that's getting triggered in that lower vibrational connection to what you've experienced. So it's almost like create some space for yourself to really be present with the feeling that your body is sharing with you. Again, it's like having that conversation with your body. Your body's holding an aspect of your trauma that wants to be worked through. So invite it forward into your consciousness. And as you do that, there might be more, like have that invitation for more to come forward so that can also be included. You might want to take a moment in the clearing to really be present with it, to forgive it, to have some compassion for it, whatever you need to do to be with your body and I want to say all aspects of your being. So this really, like, it's an invitation for previous lifetimes, previous expressions, your soul experience that is wanting to learn from whatever challenge or suffering or pain that you've been through, knowing that you're still alive, you're still here, everything is okay. It's okay that happened. It's okay that this is in your body. and it's to be embraced, to be released, if that makes sense. Not, I really want to come away from that sort of the anger and the irritation and the frustration, particularly if it's a long, you've had it for a long time. It can be quite draining when it gets to that level. So as much as you can, sit with the compassion of the pain of the body and what it's trying to say to you, and the forgiveness of that it's there, and the forgiveness also too around anyone else that co-created that with you. And I do say co-created because you were 50% of the equation. So it's looking at, the part that you've played to create this experience for yourself, for your own learning, and then these people that have come in to contribute to your experience to help set that up for you. So I know it can ask a lot. It can ask a lot of our humanness and our human understanding to embrace, to this degree, pain or suffering or, a level of discomfort that can be sometimes quite unbearable. So as much as you can, come with that intention and hold that for yourself. I think we had a couple of other people just jump in there with. Sorry, I got kicked out.
Yeah.
Um,
Do I read them now?
so what about feeling
I,
agitated, frustrated, or anger and getting itchy skin? Yes, definitely. So the anger and frustration, is usually a reaction to. So it's how we're processing or what we're sitting in. But the thing is, when we have entities and attachments hooking into those lower vibrational frequencies within our being, they perpetuate or blow it out. So, whatever, let's say you do have some repressed rage or anger, and then you get triggered by something and it amplifies it even more, you're actually being manipulated for the purpose of creating more food for them, if that makes sense. You're a food source. Your energy is their food. So the more you can consciously lean into this to process your anger, and that doesn't mean, again, we want to get it out in a healthy way, but we need to process what we're angry about and why, so that we can start to reduce how much or the intensity, the level of that energy, and also reduce the opportunity that's there for them to hook into. I mean, even now, still, actually, even today in the car, there was an entity interfering with, like, I was getting these thoughts, like these visions, and I, like, they were really quite shocking. That's what they'll do for me. They have to really up the ante because, like, it's my awareness is so strong. They're trying really hard to, get a reaction out of me, and I don't give the reaction. It's just like, nope, sorry, you got to go straight away. But my point is, even on with the way I function, it's just a normal part of our ecosystem. But the more access we have, the more awareness we have of ourselves, the more we can show up, with that level of presence and shift it so we're not being manipulated. We're not at the mercy of these beings that are actually not our true selves. They're aspects of our multidimensionality. And when we're not aware of that or we're closed off to that, then we're sort of free game. Our energy is just free for all. I don't want that. I'm going to take full responsibility for my energy, and I'm going to create a high level of awareness of my thoughts and feelings, so I know what's mine and what's not. And when it's not mine, I know what to do with it straight away to clear it out. So it's reducing the opportunity as much as possible. And that's just part of life. That's part of life of being a human and on this planet. So I don't react with anger or irritation. Oh, there's another one. It's like, oh no, you got to go, bye-bye, because I don't want that. And that's not me. So yeah, coming back to, like, feeling frustrated and irritated is a reaction. It's not the actual source of the trauma. So, but the itchy skin, look, again, they can physically irritate you, but that's not always the case. I don't want to freak everybody out, but It can be that the irritation and frustration can, that is a very popular spot for anger and frustration to come through, and the physicality is the skin. So then I would be looking at like, what is irritating you? Like, what is it? Like, what's underneath? What are you reacting to within your being? Um, and are psychic attacks connected to trauma? Yeah, absolutely. Because again, like that portal of energy is of such an intense a vibration with a lot of fear, and it's the fear that creates the opportunity. So the fear is how the interferences can come in. You are more susceptible, even if it's another person. So another person could just have a hard, oh my God, I don't know, some sort of jealousy, even they can project jealousy, and that can actually create a psychic attack towards you. They might not maliciously be wanting to attack you. They just have projecting themselves onto you with their own insecurities. But if you have a matching level of fear or any kind of fear that can hook into, it will. So again, if you've got a level of awareness when that's coming at you, you know what to do with it. You can do something with it, as opposed to just absorbing it and accepting it and then being at the mercy of that frequency, or, allowing it to trigger your victim consciousness and going, oh, she's so jealous of me, and then your reaction starts to kick in, and then it's just, free for all in that really low vibrational state. And not taking responsibility for our thoughts and feelings and what we're creating or co-creating in this exchange. Um, this is okay. So Tanya's got, this is exactly what I have. My shoulder started aching about a month ago. Yeah. So then let's bring that forward. Into the clearing. So really hold space for your shoulder, and have compassion for your shoulder and the pain that's in there. There's nothing wrong with that pain being there. It's the same with the skin. There's nothing wrong with having that experience of the anger and frustration through the skin, whether it's yours or whether it's an entity, it doesn't matter. Really, I would actually say, even if it was an entity, the best thing you can do is actually just take responsibility for what you've created, because you did create it, but then it offered an opportunity for something outside of you to come and feed off it, basically. I know this sounds really gross. I hope I'm not freaking everybody out. But this is the consequence of like what our thoughts and feelings can create. And again, entities are just a natural part of our ecosystem. So it's not to freak people out, it's to have more awareness of what we're creating within ourselves, knowing that there are other beings and things out there where this provides opportunity for them. And, the reverse of this is when you have a hard thought or a hard feeling, you process it in a healthy way. You move through the why. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? What is my trigger? Because it's very often not the thing that's actually triggered you, it's something else. And then move through the healing process and go into a higher vibrational state, cultivating the thoughts and feelings that are of our choosing in the direction we want to go into. And that contributes to the healing process, but in a very quick way. Like, I mean, that's sort of how I operate every day. But again, that's because of my level of awareness, and everybody else can do this too. Like, this is absolutely achievable. This is, my highest desire for everybody, is that we are fully aware of our thoughts and feelings, and we're very proactive in how we manage that, so that we're always aligning to a high vibrational state within ourselves. And that's not, that's processing our hard thoughts and feelings in the moment, allowing them to be there and moving through us. And if you do that, then again, you're providing less opportunity for anything outside of you to hook into that. And the faster you can do that, even better. When I say fast, it's like presence, like when you're present with yourself, that's as fast as you need to be. JS says, I feel I get hijacked by these as soon as I relax.
Yeah, I think she will be back. She just froze the video on her side. Yeah, she's back.
So sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I do actually like interference can come through with in this way. So it's not, I'm not shocked by that, but it is it can be annoying. So I do apologize. Yeah, that was a really interesting comment that I was just reading there about I can go back to I've lost the comments, but I think it
It's
was something
I
that
feel
got,
I feel I
yep.
get hijacked by these as soon as I relax into my body, and if I stop moving. Example, sports and running helps me a lot. How to stop these and protect from it.
Yeah, so the biggest aspect there is not feeling safe. Like there's a sense of feeling unsafe in vulnerability, in the peace, in the quietness. And so that would be one of the first things I'd be looking at, cultivating a sense of safety within the vulnerability. So that is buying, it's strengthening your capacity to be present and still as you continue to move through the healing process. So you would be addressing like, where did that come from? And again, it's quite often that type of trauma and that type of attack is going to be, you know, largely past life. So you don't need to understand the full story. It's actually like, what is the frequency within you that you're holding that's contributing to feeling unsafe? And so, again, the fastest way you can shift that is actually just cultivating a sense of feeling safe. And I've created the subliminals for that very reason. Safe in vulnerability as well as safe in our physicality. So the sports and the movement is you know, shifting your energy. It's reducing the opportunity. Like you're so busy and you're so going and your energy is engaged that there is no stillness. There's no downtime for the opportunity to be attacked. So strengthening that sense of safety and knowing that you'll be okay no matter what. Because fear, like these interferences will feed off your fear, but you have more power than they do. And you have to start embracing that. Even if you don't fully understand that or believe it, you have to start leaning into it. This is how you shift the dial. So, and again, that's why I created the subliminals to really get into the subconsciousness, to start doing some of the heavy lifting of I am safe. I am safe in my vulnerability. And that was, I created that because a lot of people were still holding back on themselves. Like they wanted to do the healing work, but they were still very reserved in how much they would let go of, how much they would allow themselves to go into their vulnerability, because ultimately they did not feel safe. And that didn't come from nowhere. That's like that was created from the previous experiences we've had in previous lifetimes. So at some point, we just have to buckle up and go, you know what? I am safe. I know for a fact that I'm safe. No one is coming to kill me. No one is coming to, you know, take anything away from me. I am safe to go into this now. So it's like that, feel the fear and do it anyway. And that is your courage and your inner strength that then gets to lead the way. Feel the fear. It's okay that it's there, but your courage and strength is going to start navigating that path. So this is where working with a healer can absolutely hold space for you until you can get some strength going there for you. There is nothing that you can't do for yourself that a healer can do, or vice versa. But it is, I will say, it is easier to get started with this when you've got someone who's holding that level of strength for you as you move into that space. Like you've got someone holding space for you whilst you lean into it, and then they're helping you shift that energy. So um, that's, yeah, that would be where I'd start with on how to let go of fear of death. You know what? I had a big fear of death when I was younger, but that was because I didn't really understand life and I didn't understand myself as a soul being. So once you know, now I mean where I am now, it's a completely different relationship to death. And death is not an ending. Death is like the end of a chapter and you actually go home have a bit of a rest and you'll jump back in again. I mean, we've incarnated so many times. Our souls are, these eternal beings. We've been around for a very, very long time, and this is not the only planet that we incarnate to. So it's almost like this was just one story, one chapter, one opportunity to, thrash out and explore and play and create. So my concept of death is very different now, but I sort of explain it to people like when you have someone who dies, it's like they're tapping out of the game and they get to go onto the sidelines now and watch everybody else who's still in the game. So they never leave. They don't leave you. They're still very much invested in you because the love and the connection is there, but they're part of your cheer squad now, which is your guides, your team. So you will see them when you tap out of the game, and high chance you'll probably incarnate together in another game on another planet or in another dimension or in another time. So once you start to accept a level of truth, a spiritual truth, and this isn't something that comes from outside of you, this is you connecting into yourself, your sovereign divinity, your light, your God self. When you start to lean into that and embrace that and accept that level of truth, you are actually absorbing more light. You are absorbing more of your own inner strength and guidance and intuition. Your sense of self starts to really anchor into your humanness, but you also start to live with a bit more freedom and trust. It also does create space for you to do more of the healing work because you understand that there is more of you than just this lifetime. There is more of you than just this body. And this is, like, I want to say, part and parcel of healing the trauma, because a big part of it for me also too is that trauma isn't a bad thing. It's okay. It's part of, I mean, planet Earth is the school of hard knocks. It is a very difficult planet to be on and learn through. When I was preparing for this podcast, they're actually showing me, like, and again, because of my association energetically, like, or psychically with trauma, it often presents like concrete. And they actually showed me, because I was like, a lot of people are going to struggle with the concept of like coming here, the school of hard knocks, and the soul's like, sign me up, Freddie. I want as much trauma as I can get my hands on because it's growth. It's growth for the soul. And I'm like, that's going to be a hard one for a lot of people to really process. But they actually showed me how you can see the weeds and the daisies that come through the concrete. They're like, that's the soul. The soul is the flower. That's actually what the soul wants. What the soul wants to flourish through the concrete, and the concrete is the trauma. And I was like, oh, maybe they'll understand that. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to the human consciousness, or the humanness of our beings, but the soul is hardcore, and so is divinity. Like, divinity created the darkness. The darkness is of the light. Do you know what I mean? There's no wrongness in what we are experiencing on this planet. There is no wrongness in our trauma. It's okay. It's part of the lesson. So when we can really accept that, we start to dissipate the resistance and the frustration and in the stuckness of the trauma. It's okay. It's okay that it was there. We start to soften our relationship to that heaviness that can be held in the body, or the heaviness that we can hold in our feelings. So then it gives us a bit of wriggle room in sort of moving this quite dense frequency out. And when we do that, we really want to release our attachments to it, because, again, we can be attached to our suffering. We can be addicted to our suffering. There are so many people, even that I've met personally, where I've done a lot of healing on them, and they're actually addicted. Like, they identify themselves through their illness, and that is addiction. A lot of people do this with their work. They identify who they are through their work. I'm like, that's not who you are. It's part of your service. It's part of your gifts. It's part of your talents, but your job is not who you are. Your illness is not who you are. Your trauma is not who you are. It's part of what you are here to experience and learn through and grow through. And that's why your soul chose it. It's why you've co-created this experience with divinity. So that when we have that sort of disposition, if you like, we again create more space for ourselves to be okay with the fact that it's there, and cultivate compassion and forgiveness, whether it's forgiving ourselves or forgiving others that contributed to this experience. So, and all of this, I want to say, when you consciously do this, you are loosening up the energy. You are loosening up the attachments and the addictions, all the cords. Like, again, if I go to the liver, we can have so many cords coming out of the liver that is embedded in that portal of trauma that's lodged within the liver. So, it's the same with the shoulder. We can, the cording and the attachments, the entities that you can have hooking into that part of you. It would be fascinating if if we could all actually see energetically what was hooking into our being. We would be reacting very, very differently. We would be way more proactive, I feel, in doing something about it, because all of a sudden we're like, what is that? Whereas we can be quite closed off mentally and emotionally to what we're feeling, which is, even it's there, we're just closed off to it. So that's where it keeps embedding and embedding, sinking deeper and deeper into our being until it eventually hits the physical body. And once it presents in the physical, that for me, that's actually stage 4. Whereas for a lot of people, once it hits the physical, that's when it's first hits their awareness. I'm like, no, it's been sitting in you for 20 odd years. Only now that it's actually coming through, it's gotten rooted so deeply in your body that you're now physically feeling it. Your physical is the densest part of your being. So now you're stage 4. And that's when the doctor's like, oh, this is stage 2. I'm like, no, you're stage 4. But that doesn't mean that it's like, game over. It just means now one, it's hitting your conscious awareness. So, and your physical body is actually now suffering from the thoughts and feelings that you were holding. It shifts, it makes the game a little bit more, there's a bit more pressure there to work through what we're thinking and feeling, those trauma aspects, because it's now making us physically uncomfortable. And we can't deny it. We can't ignore it because, again, it's affecting our physical experience. So I would say just be open to anything. Again, that permission to explore, understand without judgment, without criticism, without shame. Give everything permission to be there, including the trauma, no matter how hard it was. Just let it be there. Let it be okay that experience happened. And I know that's a hard one, particularly when you're talking about hardcore, abusive or violent experiences that created a very deep wounding of the trauma. That can be easier said than done. And there's different processes you can take to ease into that. But yeah, I think if you can show up with some courage and inner strength and trust that you will be okay no matter what, yeah, let's do some healing. Let's get it going. So what we'll do is just allow yourself to get comfortable wherever you're sitting or laying. So if you are sitting, you may want to lay down. And just allow your body to really let go, really soften, feeling any tension, any tightness, releasing, bringing your awareness to your breath. So taking in a long, slow, deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you inhale, feel your belly rise like a balloon. And as you exhale out through the mouth, feel your belly fall. Again, just doing another sweep of the physical, feeling into any tension, tightness, and feeling into inviting the trauma, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you can feel it or not. And it might be yours and it might be someone else's, and that's okay too. Giving the trauma permission to really come forward, to be seen, to be heard, to be felt. No matter where it is in the body, just let it be there. Give it permission to be there. Stay with your breath as you go deeper and deeper into your body. And I'm going to bring in the white flame, brighter, 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 more intense, opening this up for all participants, past, present, future, brighter, 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 coming into the healing pyramid, brighter, 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 brighter. Light a color, light a frame, coming in, see all participants. Connecting into Mother Earth, bright, bright. Bringing in the opalescent karmic flame, more intense, more intense, more intense, more intense. And as you connect into whatever wants to come forward, I want to say there is no right or wrong night right now. If you're struggling to tap into or connect with or be present with your trauma, just letting whatever thoughts and feelings are there. If you've got the irritation, if you've got the pain, giving it permission to be there without judgment, without the frustration. Bringing that in. All contracts, oaths, vows, and agreements keeping these frequencies lodged within it being released. Brighter, 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 brighter. All the way over. Brighter, brighter, brighter. Release, release, release. Okay, show me the portal of the trauma. Through all levels of time, space, dimensions, and realities. Brighter, 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 brighter. There's a lot of wormholes presenting. We flood this with the electric violet light and a light, brighter, 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 more intense, more intense, more intense. We've got a lot of help coming in. There's actually white knights. I haven't seen them in a long time. We've got the white knights coming in. Lighting up all ancestral cords of the trauma, ancestral trauma, taking that all the way through to the point of creation. There is actually a couple of curses presenting as well. Can I get, oh, that please? There's a lot of horses coming in on today's clearing. All the way through, all the way through, all the way through. Brighter, 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 more intense, more intense, more intense. I'm getting everybody's, yeah, all different aspects. So there's the head there, we've got the elbow, we've got the shoulder, we've got the knee. Okay, so there is a the horses that are coming in, it's to do with freedom within yourself. I want you to feel into the relief, whether it's physically there or not. I want you to, it's almost like cultivating that sense. Feel the relief in your body, and in that cultivating that feeling of relief, you are actually helping facilitate the release energetically. It's almost like an unlocking. Is that, show me the solar plexus, brighter, all cords, attachments, and addictions through the solar plexus to the suffering, the trauma, brighter, 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 brighter. Release, 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 and plan more contracts. Those vows and agreements, all cords, attachments, and addictions to the trauma, to the fear, the suffering, the pain, the stories, the narrative, run through all quadrants, run about all thought entities and elementals, release, 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 release. Yeah, beautiful. So we actually have JC and Mother Mary showing up right now, working on the brain. The third eye, we've got Mother Mary at the throat and the heart. We have, I'm hearing unbridled passion as well, connected to the horse. There's a freedom in the creativity. There's a freedom in the expression. So you're being asked to again lean into really um, feeling okay with what you've been through. Again, it's like permission. You allow whatever shit you've been through, whatever trauma you've been through, you allow it. It's okay that it happened. It's an experience that you are still learning through. And even if, because there are actually people showing up with not ancestral, but also past life trauma that, again, you don't need to know the narrative of, you don't need to know the story, but it's being okay with the trauma that you've endured, knowing that you have survived it, that you still exist, that you're still learning and growing and thriving as a soul, regardless of what happened. And you need to be proud of that. That's coming into a deeper level of your wholeness and your strength, which is going to create more space for the healing. So leaning into, if you can, feeling proud of everything you've been through, but feeling proud of the fact that you survived your trauma and now you are still choosing to show up and leaning into the healing part of this. Like you should be proud of yourself for doing that. It's huge and it's amazing and it's a reflection of your love and your strength. There's a lot coming out of the solar plexus right now. The spine is also currently getting worked on. JC is actually still working on the brain and the spinal cord, the nervous system, lighting up the nervous system, coding of trauma, suffering through the nervous system release, all fear-based frequencies, release, including all cords, attachments, and addictions to the fear, contracts, so fails, and agreements, release. Lighting up the endocrine system and the lymphatic system. Brighter, more intense. All seen, unseen, known, unknown, detected, undetected, hidden in plain sight, entities, dark false interferences, looking into, feeding off, addicted to the trauma, the fear, the suffering, the pain through the trauma. Brighter, release. I've got green Tara coming in at the Ajna. Show me the protective web of the Ajna. Brighter, disintegrate, eliminate, spell, also entities, elementals, or correct souls of it. Release. All foreign beings, all entities, all negative entities of the trauma through the protective web in the Ajna. Release. Now, out. Including all levels of evil consciousness, lighting up the evil consciousness, all levels of their being, brighter, all levels of consciousness, the subconscious, unconscious. Release. Gonna get the galactic vacuum in here. Spinning that out, brighter, more intense. Over the ajna, heal, seal, repair any damage, tears, rips, holes, wounds. So there was a lot of interference, a lot of entities coming out through the ajna. And showing the trauma around the crown. Release, 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 piercing through all delusions, through the mental body, emotional body, brighter, 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 brighter. Seen, unseen, now, now, detect, not taking, as I get it out, out, out. A lot of the shame is coming forward now through the mental and emotional bodies. The shame that we're holding around our trauma, the way we have turned on ourselves through these traumatic experiences. Lighting up all shame through the mental body, emotional body, all actions and addictions of shame through all levels of their being. Release, 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 release. That's really pouring out through the heart there now. So again, as much as you can, just holding space of compassion and forgiveness for yourself, for however you have perceived yourself, judged yourself or others through your trauma. It's okay. It's okay that it happened. It's okay that it's there. There is actually nothing wrong with the fact that it's there. It's serving you. It's part of your growth and learning. There's a lot coming out on the right side as well. It's predominantly, for this particular group, it's predominantly through the right. There is a left there, but the right is definitely stronger. But there's also a sense of like on the right side of the masculine, it's like the stuckness that's really getting presented. And they're asking you now to be proud of your journey, being proud of what you've been through, being proud of what you have created for yourself and your learning. Again, cultivating more strength and ownership of yourself, your light, your journey. There was nothing wrong in what you've been through. There was nothing wrong in the experience or the trauma or whatever it is that you're still holding. Disintegrating and expel all the way through. So just visualizing or sensing, or just, you can imagine it, even if you struggle with all of those, I want you to just know, just hold the intention of that white flame underneath you coming up through your feet. And it's actually spinning through your whole center, like through your whole energetic being. This white flame growing, coming up through the legs, through the waist, through the base, the sacral and the solar plexus, all around you throughout your auric field, this white flame spinning, coming up through the heart, through your arms, your chest, through your neck, your head, all around you. You are held in this flame, and it's like the energy of your whole auric being is spinning really, really fast, like 9/10 the speed of light. And just feeling into the gratitude. And that's the gratitude for the experience, as well as the gratitude of yourself in the way you are showing up, with the preparedness, the desire, the willingness to let all of this out. to move through you, not denying the experience, not denying the trauma, just letting it move through you. Allowing any other feelings, any other thoughts and feelings that you have in relation to your trauma or how you've been processing to just be there, to just come up through you. Feeling your whole being as just pure light. I'm going to do one more sweep of the disintegrate eliminate spell through the mental body and the emotional body, all dirty, congested, contaminated energy, or lower vibrational energy, or lower thought vibrationally. Forms or thought entities, release, 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 release. Heal, so repair the mental body, the emotional body, brighter, 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 stronger. Emotional body, stronger, brighter, stronger, more intense. Heal, so repair. Emotional body, stronger, strengthening the emotional body, brighter, 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 stronger. I'm going to bring in the Christ light, just sealing that in the golden light, brighter, brighter, increment into Mother Earth. So when you're ready, just bringing your awareness back into your body with your breath, taking a few big, long, slow, deep breaths, wriggling your fingers and toes, coming back into your body, bringing your awareness behind your eyes. Just coming back to the group. And we'll open it up for questions or if anyone wants to share their experience.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sarah. Yeah, for me, it's brought sense of relief and also feeling of peacefulness in the
Yeah,
heart.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
horses were amazing. The horses were like,
yeah.
that was pretty cool,
I've been
actually.
seeing
And there
statues
was
of horses these days.
but their power in the horses that were showing up and the freedom, and it was, yeah, it was amazing. I think Tanya wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. Tanya, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, yes. Hello. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Hello, Mantra.
Hi, how
Sorry.
you doing?
I just woke up. Sorry. I'm not. My shoulder feels better. It's very odd because I always had pains and aches on my left side, so connected to my probably female energies.
Mhm.
And recently, usually it's my left knee, my left hip, and recently, so I didn't know either it was something trauma sitting there, or I had lots of aches and pains last few months because of ascension. So I couldn't really like take my arm up, but now it still hurts a bit, but I can take it up.
You've got
So
the
thank you for your
movement.
healing.
Oh,
I was
amazing.
just wondering. I was just wondering,
Yeah.
is it lots of pains I had recently? Are those ascension, or I still have something that I need to release?
It can actually be both. So,
Mm.
as we ascend things, like as your vibration becomes higher, sometimes there can be a discord then in your frequency going up and what's still lodged within your being. It's almost like the noise becomes louder. So it's not that it's new, but it's hitting your radar even more. So that can be something, but also too, as you deepen through your healing and spiritual journey, it can bring more things forward. And the more sensitive you become, the more you feel it as well. So it can actually be an array of things. Again, there is no right or wrongness to what's coming forward. The best thing you can do is actually just to acknowledge it, to feel it, and then feel into what's coming forward and then just letting it move through you. So, but that's amazing. It's actually, I would say it's a good sign. It's a good thing. And, you change a lot as you heal and grow and evolve and our levels of awareness start to increase, we can start to have experiences that actually can become more intense than what it used to be. But again, it's because our frequency is changing, our vibration is changing, our sensitivity is changing. And for a long time there, I became super sensitive. And I actually, for many years, sort of went into this cocoon space. Like I didn't want to be around a lot of people. I you know, I was really sensitive to energies, like I felt like I couldn't go anywhere. And that lasted for a while, but it was just the phase that I was going through in my healing journey. And it took as long as it took. And now I'm, you know, much more well-rounded. Like I'm still sensitive, but I'm much stronger in my energy. So I can manage it like more proactively. And also too, I'm more discerning on what I do and don't do, or where I go, or do you know what I mean? All the types
Yeah.
of engagements that I have. So um, yeah, look, I think it's actually a really good thing. It's a good sign, and just be the more present you can be with what you're feeling and how you're feeling, and you know, not just projecting onto the trigger, but actually going within and going, why am I feeling so? Like, I just got really triggered from that person. What is it within me that is coming forward to be looked at? Or, you know, with your shoulder, what's coming forward, and then embracing it actually and allowing it to move through you. So again, there's nothing that I am doing that you can't do yourself, but it is easier for sure when someone's sort of holding that space, or, you know,
Yeah.
use energetic techniques. And for me, the way I work is you're working on this as much as I am. You know, do you know what I mean? That's just how I work. But that's amazing. I'm really glad that you've got some movement happening in your shoulder. That's awesome. Well
Thank
done,
you
you.
very much, Sarah. Thank you. And thank you, Monsef. Thank you. I love you both.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tanya. And Tatiana. First, I want to share feedback from Hala. Thank you so much. Feel so much lighter. And Nicole, definitely a feeling of release, calm, and peace. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Hi, Tatiana.
Hello, Monsef. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for the process. It was very powerful. I saw black cobra, black snake, during the process. It's attached to me and it's triggering psychic attacks on me, on my mom, on our house. I don't know how to let go of it.
Yes, okay. It can be a hard one when it's triggering the fear, but like the first thing that came forward when you started talking was that you really have to embrace your power, to know that you you are more powerful than the snake, and there is nothing that the snake can do to you that you can't, that you know, you allow it. Does that make sense? Like even with a psychic attack, you can accept the attack, or you can step into your power and say no. So, and that was actually one of the things that I learned working with the dark forces. You know, it was a fascinating experience. There's a level of respect that has to come with working with the darkness, to understand that it does actually serve us. But really, they're just going for fear to take your power. And that's one of the fastest ways you can, when you embody your God self, when you embody your divinity, there is nothing stronger than that. So spend some time without focusing on the entity. You need to send your energy within yourself to strengthen your connection to divinity, and know within all levels of your being that there is nothing stronger than you. And that's not to disregard the dark. It's actually to cultivate a healthy level of respect, but it's actually of no threat to you, because you are more powerful and you understand its purpose. Does that make sense? You're disempowering. Again, it's like what we're talking about with allowing the trauma to be there. It's taking away the push-pull frequency, that gridlock of fear that can come in, the anger, the resistance piece that can come in. It's like when we have a level of acceptance for the lesson, it starts to dissipate the stuckness of it. We can start to move forward. I know I've spoken to you, I think, a few times, and you know, your experience in the psychic attack space, the more you can cultivate your own light and strength and trust and knowing of who you truly are. Like every single being is an aspect of divinity. You are God, literally. So when you can start to really own that part of you, you gain a bit more traction within yourself to be less susceptible to the darkness, and also to understand its purpose and its place. And it gives you, you know, a bigger playground to work with. So I hope that helps.
Well, thank you. Yes, I have been listening to your MP3s and it's very helpful. But what can I do right now to stop all these attacks? Because it has been really very, very hard.
I feel like even with you, there's a aspect of there's a part of you from the ways that you have shown up in your journey of working with the darkness, if that makes sense. And this is okay, I'll use actually a different example that I have seen in quite a lot of people. It's like when they actually go, you know what, I don't want to work with the dark anymore. Like again, you think the darkness is just going to give you up. Like they had access to your energy and they were utilizing your power. You think you can just take that back? Do you know what I mean? There's this battle that can happen. Also, too, quite often people can have a target on their back because of what they've done previously. So I think for you in particular in your relation, you need to start looking at your direct relationship to darkness and your perception of, you know, being a victim when you can take ownership of your contribution to this exchange. It's almost like you need to own the level of darkness within you to transmute that back into the light. And that's how you can, again, start to absorb more of your truth. You are divinity. I think I said it at the beginning. Darkness came from the light. There is nothing stronger than the light. The light is the everything. And the darkness was created for the purpose of duality on the planet. And we do learn through it. It does serve us. So I would start to say, look at your direct relationship to darkness and your experience, your contribution, and start to reconcile that. There's a level of forgiveness, but you also need to get stronger in your boundaries. And it's like you need to get firmer in your no. No, I'm not playing this game anymore. No, you do not have access to my energy. No, I am literally, I'm God. I am divinity. I have switched sides now and I'm coming back to the truth of who I am. And I'm so grateful for that experience. Does that make sense? You need to start working through your relationship to darkness so that it starts to dissipate in the power that you're giving it. And you can start to reclaim that and the balance will start to go more in your favor.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Tatiana. Much love. And thank you, Sarah, for the guidance.
My pleasure. Yes, I choose to be the
Tanya
light.
wrote,
Me
I
too.
choose. Beautiful.
We are the light.
Yeah.
Everyone is of the light. Even when we think people are not, they're still creation. So when we can start to accept that everybody is just a mirror, we again hold more space for our own wholeness. Our perception of another person is a reflection of ourselves. We're just projecting onto that mirror. So you know, there is no separation in that sense. You are the light, and so is everything else, and everyone else, and every sentient being is light. Light is everywhere. Light is in the chair that you're sitting on. Light is in the tree outside. Like it's everything everywhere. So yeah, when it comes to trauma, you can use, I would just play. If that concept works for you, then look at your trauma as light. It is an opportunity for learning. It's an aspect of you to learn about yourself through. And there's nothing wrong with the fact that it's there within your being, that you're still holding it and carrying it for the purpose of learning and growth. And again, that softens it. It starts to create a bit of space, a bit of movement. And the forgiveness piece, like if you can go into whatever practice of forgiveness you can create for yourself, that is also another big part of the releasing, the actual letting go of that energy. But I will jump forward to one of the amazing things that I loved that I got from my team was that once you get to that other side of, once you move through the forgiveness, you actually get to a point where you realize there was nothing to forgive in the first place. And I loved that. When I learned that through my team, I was like, oh my God, I felt like the secret was revealed. So if you can get that, you know, that's sort of where you want to get to. And that's why I'm saying there's nothing wrong with the trauma. It's giving it that level of acceptance.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you very much, Sarah, for everything you shared today. And also, we have you are offering like free gifts and also 3 packages for those who want to work with you. The packages that include the Blue Room, which will be happening on March next month, 2026. There's also for the first-time client, 30-minute one-on-one private session, and also for everyone, there is a bundle of 3 60-minute one-on-one sessions. And I will put the link for those on the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. Also, the link is on YouTube video description, and there is a special offer button which is on the live events page. And you'll find this also on the replay page later. And the link is yourdivineuniqueness.com/Sarah31. Sarah and number 31. SARAH 31. And also I will put the free gift link and coupon code. It is on the website, and I will put it on the chat. So Sarah, I would love if you can tell us about those.
Yeah, so the free gift is, I think, a different version of the I Am Safe meditation. So it's another subliminal, and the script comes with it as well. So and that I would recommend. I mean, that's going to be great for everybody, trying to create that sense of safety, because it builds this foundation of like a trust within yourself. It again opens up more space within your being to access more healing, to release more, to create more freedom within yourself. So I just wanted to offer that as a free gift for everybody. But yeah, so a 30-minute session is great. I don't spend too much time in the talking. It's like there's a form for you to fill out on what you would like to address, and we can get in there for a full half an hour just doing some solid clearing work. And again, I think, I've sort of demonstrated that my style of healing really encourages your participation to show up in the healing experience, and you always get homework. But that's to support you post-healing so that you can continue creating momentum and moving forward in the direction you would like to go. I have, a lot of my clients are repeat clients. So quite often, even if it's just a one specific issue, sometimes it can take a few sessions depending on what the issue is. But my work really is, it's not about just fixing one thing. There's nothing to fix because you're not broken, but it's moving through the healing aspect. And I bring a lot of spiritual development and spiritual growth to the healing work that I do. So it's not just about the healing piece, it's actually about the growing and the alignment into your sovereign divinity, the creation of your heaven on earth. So there's a really big mentoring piece that comes through my work. And it's a true honor for me to witness that in a lot of people that I work with, the growth and the change and the flourishing of their true selves. And it can be a hard journey and a messy journey. So it's nice to have that person to journey through it with and have the sounding board or the guide, or, quite often, and one of my strengths is actually looking at blind spots and working through blind spots because they offer so much growth. So that's where the repeat sessions can be very, very beneficial. And then the Bloom Room, I have a real soft spot for the Bloom Room. I love it. It's like it was created initially for manifesting, but what it has, given us is just so much more. And the alignment, the energetic alignment that you get, and so we meet twice a week, and I do monthly intakes. But you are coming into this really high vibrational state, and it's as you bless other people, you are receiving the whole time. And the shifts and the changes and the healing, actually, I'm getting a lot of feedback, recently of the healing that's coming through in these sessions. And it's very indirect, like it's just, you're sort of sitting in a shower of this energy, and it's doing whatever it needs to do through that group frequency and the blessing. So but it can be very protective. It offers a lot of protection with your energy because of the up leveling and the high frequencies. the manifestations that are coming over are awesome. There's so much. I love it. And it's like, it's an amazing feeling, and the community is really beautiful. So anyway, I think I've shared enough, but yeah, the Bloom Room, I love it. And it's a beautiful thing to be part of. The group is amazing. So, and the spiritual development that you can get out of that group is amazing as well. So there's lots of chats, and there's lots of support, and there's lots of working through things. So it's sort of evolved into a really beautiful space of support and growth and healing and creating. So yeah, you should all come.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for everyone coming live and on the replay. I really appreciate everybody.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and again, if you want, you will find the links on the chat boxes, both YouTube and Zoom, and on the website as well, and YouTube video description as well. So yeah, thank you again, Sarah, for everything. Yeah, very, very powerful call. We loved it. So thank you for the information you shared, and also the clearing. That was quite powerful. So thank you.
Thank you.
And everyone, thank you very much for being here with us today, whether on the live or on the replay. Thank you for your presence, your energies. Thank you for those who asked their questions, for the comments. And yeah, so with that, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye for now.